'cause these herbs are rare. Sorry, they had us pick walk-on music, which is so amazing and so fun. And then I was like, well, I didn't pick this music to walk 2 seconds from here to here. So, you just get a little more Erykah Badu, which we all need more of in our life. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for Jodi-Ann for inviting me and obviously creating what we desperately need. It's just like such a good vibe in here. This is so good. Normally I'm getting ready for bed this time on a Friday night, but I'm so happy to be here all with you. So I just last week finished a first draft of my next book. Which will be for sale in the spring of 2027, which sounds like a long ways away, but it has like an actual, like it is now not a thing that's just in my mind for 3 years, like it's actually becoming a thing. And it's a memoir, which is like, y'all, it is not easy to write memoir. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be. So I've been spending a lot of time with like my little child self, like writing those memories, which for a long time I was like, I have no memories of childhood. And then I realized, oh, there's a specific trauma that caused that to happen, which anyone who's on any kind of healing journey, which I hope you all are, you realize like, oh, wow, that's a lot to like contend with. And so I thought I didn't remember stuff, but I really do. And then you get to a place, hopefully, where those things can be really pleasant, which I'm happy to say is where I'm at right now. So, I'll stop talking now, and I'm just gonna read. You all get to spend some time with baby Angela now. Okay. My parents raised me and my brothers to speak English. They spoke to us in English with bits of Tagalog woven into daily life and conversation. Bihis ka na, kain tayo. Mahulog ka dyan. Bilisan mo, ang kakainis. Thank you. If you're Filipino, you know. Tagalog has always confounded me. When I learned Spanish in high school, I learned that there are 2 verbs for to be, ser and estar. Ser describes a permanent way of being, soy yo, I am me. Estar is a temporary way of being, estoy contenta, I am happy. Even as an 8th grader, I cherished the distinction. It made so much sense. There is who I am, and there is how I am feeling, which changes all the time. And while I change, of course, fundamentally, I will always be me. I was startled to learn that in Tagalog, a language colonized and changed by Spanish, and that shares many of its words, there is no verb for to be. Masama ako, bad I, meaning I am bad. But the state of being is implied. We don't bother with the distinction of being bad by nature or circumstance. So where does that leave me? All of this torturous thinking, silent clutter in my mind, I want to rid myself of all of it. But then who will I be? How will I understand myself if I'm not constantly trying to translate? Find the language to express who I am, the distance my family has traveled, everything lost and gained along the way. We lived in rural central Pennsylvania, the ass crack of the state, I like to joke. Far from Philadelphia in the east, really though, yeah. And Pittsburgh in the west, the places most familiar to people from out of state. Behind our house was a steep hill that led into 3 acres of woods. I would climb that hill on the lightly worn path that wasn't quite a trail, past the big hang-up with the tree house my father built. At the top, the ground flattened out for a stretch. I never went too far past the crest, just enough to get to the spot. My spot. I went there to be alone. Not that I needed to be alone. My two older brothers had each other. They were a more natural pair, more familiar with each other. We were latchkey kids. Both my parents worked full-time. My dad was a pathologist, diagnosing disease by looking at tissue samples through microscopes, who occasionally did autopsies. My mom was a hospice nurse, caring for terminally ill patients in their homes. They came home tired, always talking about illness and death, often over dinner. My brothers and I took the bus, number 27, driven by Betty Starr, home every day. It dropped us at the end of Bull Run Road, and we'd walk the third of a mile to our house. I didn't mind being on my own until I was made aware of it. When a knock would come at our front door, I'd jump up, excited, wondering who was there, if they had a package for me. Maybe it was a sister, magically appearing as I secretly hoped. But it was always just our neighbor, Barry Hendrickson, who would look down at his shoes, shuffle his feet, and say, "Can Jason and Peter come out to play?" I'd follow them outside where they tolerated my presence. I would wander, sometimes into the creek in front of our house, to flip rocks over and see what bugs scuttled out. If I was feeling brave, I'd crawl through the corrugated metal tunnel that ran underneath Bull Run Road, bringing me to the other side of the creek. I'd walk around the woods looking for a good stick, sassafras leaves shaped like mittens. This is how I found my spot. I liked to go there to be alone. The alone that I chose. An empty house, or a house where no one talks to you, is more isolating than being by yourself in the woods. My mossy spot was luxurious. A plush, deep jade green carpet on the forest floor. I could spend an hour there daydreaming, semi-conscious, being still. When I lay down, the moss was always cool and tickly on my back. I shivered, then quickly melted, absorbed into a quiet that called to me, that I understood was much bigger than myself. Dark, open, wide. I had a lot of questions about the Catholic Church. Like, why were we Catholic in the first place? Is the Spanish came and colonized us and made us Catholic? What were we before they arrived and forced us to believe in their God? Why can't girls be altar boys? Am I really eating the actual body of Christ, including bones? Knuckle. Why so many questions? You want answers? Pray to God for answers. There were some plus sides to being Catholic. I loved the hour I spent at church every week. It was non-negotiable, so I learned to vibe out. Use the hour to people watch, wander the halls of my own mind, reflect on what was going on, pray for things I wanted, like a new edition record, Cabbage Patch doll, or a $5 bill I lost. I was not sure if I believed in God, at least not this old, gray-haired, bearded man who was always watching me, waiting for me to make mistakes. But I figured it couldn't hurt to reach out, just in case. As part of my Catholic school education, we learned about the 7 sacraments, starting with the one no one could remember, the one that happened right after we were born, baptism. Catholics believe that you are born with original sin. You bear the stain of Eve's disobedience, taking the bite of the apple which got her and Adam kicked out of the Garden of Eden. That's why you are baptized, to be cleansed. As a child in 2nd grade, getting ready for my first communion, I truly could not fathom how a baby could be sinful, how mistakes made by people so long ago could have anything to do with all of us now. But I began to understand. As a 9-year-old searching for reasons and meaning behind who I was, the church provided me my only clue: original sin. I was born bad. Masama ako. Bad as in what my body did when I watched the music video for Prince's When Doves Cry. Prince made me feel weird, possibly because he reminded me of God. I was doing my best to be good, but there was Prince in a steamy bathtub wearing a crucifix around his neck, staring at me while a lurid guitar solo threatened to rip me open. Then there he was, wet and crawling across the floor in front of a stained glass cross, telling me to touch his naked stomach. He seemed to be at church, though he oozed an eroticism I understood as bad. The badness I recognized in myself. The badness that if I confided in anyone about would disintegrate the family ties that brought my parents and me so much happiness. I wanted badly to live in a house filled with Filipino noise and Filipino joy, to be surrounded by cousins and aunts and uncles, to always be in their company. But if I talked about my badness, no one would love me anymore. My badness would reveal my sin, the sin of being me. Okay, that's the end.